The story behind Luang Phor Tuad amulets. Wat Shanghai of Pattani province. The legend of Luang Phor Tuad has become so widespread on a national level that it is common knowledge in every region. But Luang Phor Tuad was an actual person, he really existed. The following information has been gathered and composed from various sources, including history books, folk myths, and other literary sources. This information intends to explain how the Luang Phor Tuad amulet has existed. Pra Archan Tim Tam Ma Ta Ro, the maker of Luang Phor Tuad. Archan Tim Pram Pradu was born on August 21, 1912, in Na Pradu Subdistrict, Luang Phor District, Pattani Province. When he was 9, his parents brought him to stay with Pra Kru Pat Ta Ra Korn Kovit. After that, Tim Pram Pradu followed priest Dang Thama Chodo of Wat Na Pradu to study Buddhism Dharma until he was 18. He became a novice, but just for a few months, he had to give up and go to help his parents with farm work. When he was 20 years old, he became a monk again at Wat Na Pradu, Pattani, on June 7, 1933. While he stayed in Wat Na Pradu, Archan Tim went to study more at Wat Muj Ja Rin Ta Va Pi Vi Harn until he passed the examination of the first one versed in the precepts of religion at Wat Pa La Nu Phop, Pattani. Archan Tim also learned more subtle Buddhism from his Buddhist practices, which are broad and profound. Later, Archan Tim had a chance to study Buddhism magic with Pra Kru Pibul Samanawat, who was well known in magic. After that, Archan Tim returned to his homeland and taught the Buddhism Dharma to monks and novices in Na Pradu. This time he met Luang Phor Nong Tham Ma Phu Tho, Pra Kru Tham Ma Kit Ko Sol, former abbot of Wat Sai Khao, a monk friend in the same temple at Wat Na Pradu. The two priests were such close friends they were treated as a brotherhood. They also had two more friends, Luang Phor Noeng, former abbot of Wat Na Pradu, and Luang Phor Chin Cho Ti Ko, the abbot of Wat Muang, Yala Province. Codification in the priesthood. Archan Tim passed the first verse in the precept of religion in the royal arena Wat Pa La Nu Phop, Pattani, in 1944. He became the abbot of Wat Shanghai in July 1941. The early history and life of Archan Tim's brotherhood, Luang Phor Nong of Wat Sai Khao, was born on October 15, 1919, in Na Pradu Subdistrict, the same hometown as Archan Tim. He was ordained as a novice monk at 19 years at Wat Na Pradu, where Pra Phutha Sai Urak was his preceptor. However, he disrobed and left the monastic life after 1 month to help his parents in the fields. 2 years later, at age 21, in 1939, he reordained as a monk again. Luang Phor Nong's Buddhist name is Tham Ma Phu Tho. He personifies this through his careful belief in every aspect of his life, Buddha teachings of Dhamma. He lived in Wat Na Pradu temple for 12 years and obtained a great master at Wat Na Pradu. The path of his monkhood began in 1945. Later, in 1971 he left Wat Na Pradu and became the abbot at Wat Sai Khao in Luang Phor Subdistrict. He received the Royal Honorary Monk's title in 1981. Also, he received the Royal Honorary Monk's certification of Pra Kru, monks having the higher rank title, in 1994. During Naktam, one is a graduate of the Dhamma studies. But when one becomes a Pra Kru, he becomes a teacher of Dhamma studies. Luang Phor Nong passed away on September 11, 1999, at the ripe old age of 80. Pattani Province performed the cremation ceremony at Wat Sai Khao on May 20, 2002. It is customary for Thais to revere an accomplished master by preserving his body for several years following his death. The monk and his character Luang Phor Nong was a monk who preferred a simple life. He rejected any luxury and did not yearn for titles or positions in the Buddhist committee. Luang Phor Nong cared solely for Wat Sai Khao temple's welfare, inhabitants, and community. He donated all the funds drawn from donations of the laity or the sale of his amulets to charity. He contributed to hospitals, schools, temples, and even mosques. Once, he was sick and was admitted to the hospital. Instead of inquiring about his health, he asked the doctor, "Do you still need anything to help your community?" These acts of selflessness made Luang Phor Nong respected and admired by the people of Pattani. He taught others to donate to the less fortunate and to always reach out to those facing hardship and troubles. Luang Phor Nong and Archen Tim of Wat Shanghai studied Buddhism together when they were young. He preached that the more one gives, the more one does to reduce greed and attachments. His exemplary behavior is an exact reflection of his name, Luang Phor Nong, the teachings of the Buddha. Once, Luang Phor Nong and Archen Tim traveled together to Wat Rakong in Bangkok to purchase prasumdaj amulets for distribution to devotees. Luang Phor Nong suddenly changed his mind and told Archen Tim, "Why don't we consider making amulets ourselves? Let's make them famous for becoming a symbol of the southern provinces." When they returned to Pattani, they prepared to craft their first batch of amulets, naming them Luang Phor Thud Nua 1, in 1954, made of powdered herbs. Already renowned in those days, they have risen to become one of the preferred styles of amulets from southern Thailand, even in the present day. Mr. Arnan Khan Na Nu Rak, the sponsor in creating the Luang Phor Tuad amulet in 1954, made this record. Luang Phor Tuad's amulets are available nowadays because of his dream. Mr. Arnan Khan Na Nu Rak says, "One night in November 1952, I dreamed of meeting Luang Phor Tuad, not too far from Wat Shanghai. He gave me some medicines and put the auspicious thread on my head before walking toward Wat Shanghai. One day, in the morning, I wanted to visit Wat Shanghai and ask for some information, but I needed enough time. Later, on February 4, 1954, I had a chance to visit Wat Shanghai. I met and talked to Archen Tim, the abbot of Wat Shanghai." Mr. Arnan Khan Na Nu Rak says, "This is my first time here and getting to know Archen Tim. While talking, I asked Archen Tim, 'Do you think about making amulets to give to the devotees who supported in chapel building?' Archen Tim said he thought so for 2 years, but it was still uncompleted. So I told him I wanted to be a sponsor in this job. I invited him to choose the amulet style in his mind. I want to choose only the color red. Suddenly, I feel my hair standing on end. Everybody in that event can be a witness." I said this phenomenon could only be by Luang Phor Tuad. He had delighted with our idea to build his amulet. My hair stood up again, and I saw the amulet floating in front of me. It's an image of an old priest sitting on the lotus. His body is black. Luang Phor Tuad caused to occur this miracle to show me. I told Archen Tim about the miracle by Luang Phor Tuad because he wants us to create his amulet. So we should do it by his wish. And I asked Archen Tim to be the mediator to invite Luang Phor Tuad's spirit during the ceremony at every step. Pra Kru Y Sai So Fan agreed to create the image of Luang Phor Tuad with tuberous powder and black clay. This clay was called Din Wan Dam and was available on the hill's foot. Luang Phor Nong, Wat Sai Khao abbot, commanded his staff to find the tuberous plants on the hills. Archen Song of Wat Wong Kot but guided the ways and selected the plants in this work. He knew all tuberous plants' quality. Mr. Damrong, the abbot of Bon Wong Bon of Tam Bol Paya, was a sponsor to supply black clay. The construction of the amulet started on March 19, 1954, and was completed on April 15, 1954. The whole amulet is 64,000 pieces, less than the expected amount of 84,000 pieces due to the short time. All amulets were pronounced for the ceremony in the old chapel on April 18, 1954. Pra Kru Y Sai So Fan was the chairman of the tradition of inviting the spirit of Luang Phor Tuad, Luang Phor Si, Luang Phor Tong, Luang Phor Chan, and other abbots such as Luang Phor Nong from Wat Sai Khao and Ordination Abbot Dam from Wat Si La Loi. After the ceremony ended, the amulets were distributed to everybody. 1 piece is given to each devotee. Production Luang Phor Tuad first batch of amulet. Tuberous amulet in the first period was divided into 3 sizes, 3 pim. First. Large size, pim yai, second. Medium size, pim klong, and third. Small size, pim lek. All amulets are made of 3 sizes from 16 crucibles. The crucibles are used for sealing wax. The pressing and releasing of amulet mold to the tuberous clay affected the amulet's shape. Some pieces have holes on the bottom, and some do not, due to several people taking part in the job. Removing the amulets from the mold is dipping a small bamboo stick into the amulet's bottom. Luang Phor Tuad amulet has many characteristics. If you have seen it before, You can know whether it is from what Shanghai, because those molds were similar. The quality of the amulets is fine, and some are rough. Most of the helpers were the monks from Wat Shanghai and Wat Na Pradu. Luang Phor Tuad amulet, all 3 sizes, the body is identical in every size. The image sits on the twin lotus base, one face up and one face down. The small size was easy to notice because there was little difference. Large sizes and medium sizes were similar. The difference is only in the size of the body. The amulet made in an earlier period was by gentle hand press. Hi, I hope you enjoy and find this video valuable and interesting. For your review, the following is part of the Luang Phor Tuad amulets, created by various temples and masters in earlier times of Thailand since 1962.
สัจจังปกาเสติธรรมะจักกังปวัตติเอเตนะสัจจะวะเชนะโหตุเมชยมังคลังปัญจมาเรชิโนนาโทปัตโตสัมโพธิมุตตมังจะตุสัจจังปกาเสติธรรมะจักกัง